Mission Save the Hunter, Chapter 7. Park Kang, huh? At first glance, he seems like an ordinary young father working hard for his family, but if you really know him, hey, you. Yu Junchul's eyes narrowed. Don't make that face. What face? That, my list of sparring candidates just got better face. You read me perfectly. I'll compliment you for that. At the shameless reply, Yu Junchul rubbed his temple as if he had a headache. This isn't your list of sparring candidates, it's the list of hunters, including So Chae-yoon, whom we must revere. So now we're meeting S ranks just to fight them, and suddenly you're saying not to fight? Yu Junchul flinched, his expression briefly giving away guilt before he quickly composed himself. Of course, if necessary, you can spar with the candidates, but if you carelessly upset So Chae-yoon and he turns his back on us, we're in trouble. We need to be in his good graces no matter what. We have to get him on our side. He lowered his voice to deliver the warning firmly, but Kwon Ji-han's expression still sparkled with intrigue, his gaze fixed on the list. Yu Junchul felt a sharp twinge in his gut, almost as if his intuition was warning him. Kwon Ji-han's curious expression always spelled disaster. He would have preferred Kwon Ji-han's usual indifferent face. With a nervous, trembling look, Yu Junchul asked, "You're not coming to the merger ceremony, right?" "I am." "Why? You hate guild events. There will be reporters and cameras everywhere that day. You don't have to come." "But I have to. What if So Chae-yoon is there? I can't miss that." "Hey, just to be clear, you're not going there to fight him. We're trying to save the world, remember? Please, I'm begging you. Understand? Okay? Please?" Kwon Ji-han smirked, his expression wicked, paying no attention to the plea. Yu Junchul had a sinking feeling in his gut that Kwon Ji-han was about to cause big trouble. 3 days after the Guild of Leaves guildmaster delivered news of their merger with the Sokyung Guild at a modest barbecue joint, it was Monday. The Sokyung Guild officially announced a large-scale merger plan. All the guilds involved in the merger were small guilds, especially being absorbed into Sokyung. Such a large-scale merger happening all at once was unprecedented since the time 4 to 5 years ago when guilds had sprung up like mushrooms only to vanish overnight. Domestic and international media alike rushed to publish speculative articles on the reason behind Sokyung Guild's large-scale merger. Some guessed it was to efficiently manage low-grade dungeons, others thought it was to expand their public service initiatives, and still, others considered it a move to grow the guild itself. Sokyung Guild remained silent on the matter. Meanwhile, news that Sokyung guilds had approached the small guilds for contract first brought unprecedented attention to these smaller guilds. The Guild of Leaves was no exception. "Hee-won, do I have a pimple here?" "No, you don't." "Really? I stayed up late yesterday because I had 2 back-to-back interviews after work. I've been doing so many interviews lately that I've even gotten dark circles under my eyes. Ah, right, team leader. I'm stepping out briefly at 3 o'clock today." "Why?" "I have a broadcast interview. You know HBS, right? The Hunter broadcast?" "Oh, right. I've got a magazine interview at 5, so make it quick." "In the evening, I've got an interview with Hunter Pia, you know, the #1 Hunter channel on HunterNet. They begged me to do it, so I couldn't say no. It's a hassle, but what can you do?" The dungeon attack team, which probably received the most interview requests, was still inside the dungeon and would return tomorrow. Since the management team consisted of F-ranked awakened, Park Youngbum and Go Hee-won were reaping the benefits. From the Monday of last week, when the merger was officially announced, to today, the day before the merger ceremony, the two had been comparing the number of interviews they had done, bragging about which outlets they'd been featured in. The guild was in a celebratory mood. Even though the name Guild of Leaves would disappear, with the massive improvements in salary and benefits, the excitement was understandable. If not for the pre-scheduled raid, the dungeon attack team would likely be swamped with interview requests as well. The B-rank herb dungeon the guildmaster had painstakingly reserved couldn't be skipped, so they went ahead with the attack, planning to return by tomorrow morning to attend the merger ceremony. Yoon-so, listening to the childish bickering as background noise, packed the shield traps into their case and stood up. "Yoon-so, where are you going?" "Appa, where are you going?" Park Youngbum and Go Hee-won sharply turned their heads, shooting pointed looks as if to ask, "Are you going for an interview too?" Yoon-so was baffled. "Don't you have work to do?" "We do." We'll get to it. The two visibly relaxed. Slinging his bag over his shoulder, Yunso said, I'm going out for fieldwork today and heading straight home afterward. Oh, really? Then we'll see you tomorrow at the merger ceremony. The merger ceremony, attracting global attention, was scheduled for 6 o'clock in the evening at Sokyung Guild's Gangnam headquarters. Following the ceremony, a banquet would be held at a pavilion in the palace, likely accessed via portal traps. What time are we meeting? The management team said they're meeting 2 hours early. Isn't that overkill? I get that the Sokyung Guild master hates tardiness, but isn't this too much? Go Hee-won remarked haughtily. Park Youngbum also scoffed. That's what I'm saying. We're just a small guild, not their subordinate. It's not like we begged them for the merger. Sokyung wanted it. Let's take it easy for our team. Yeah, let's meet at noon. It's not about meeting early. I just want to have lunch together. Sure, I'll book a restaurant in Gangnam. Leaving the two chatting as usual, Yoon-so was about to leave when he suddenly stopped. He pulled 2 clear pouches out of his bag and handed one to Park Youngbum and Go Hee-won each. The two, who had been ready to grab them since Yoon-so took them out, eagerly opened the pouches. You baked cookies again yesterday? Thanks, I'll enjoy them. I really support your various hobbies, Yoon-so. Keep it up. The pouches were filled with delicious-looking brown chocolate crack cookies. Yoon-so often shared cookies with his colleagues like this. The two immediately took a bite, crunching into the cookies, their faces lighting up with delight at the sweet taste. Meanwhile, just watching them eat the cookies made Yoon-so feel full. He quickly said goodbye and left the office. As of yesterday, he had baked a total of 65,191 cookies. His final will was to bake 100,000, so there was still a long way to go. Driver Yoon-so, recognition complete. Please set the destination. As soon as he got in his car, AI Sticky Rice cheerfully activated the ignition. Yoon-so entered the address of his first destination and reclined in his seat. It's really happening, huh? The merger. He had heard about it for a while, but it was only now sinking in. For now, they wouldn't be relocating the office, so he was still commuting to the guild building in Yudo. But after the merger ceremony, some guild members might have to commute to Sokyung. Yoon-so sincerely hoped he wouldn't be one of them. Gangnam was far from his home, for one thing. He wasn't against the merger itself, but Sokyung Guild wasn't exactly a place filled with good memories for him. To be honest, he didn't want to go tomorrow either. Why does it have to be that day? Tomorrow was the Great Dungeon Memorial Day. The merger ceremony, which would draw more attention than the government's official event, was bound to bring it up. According to the media, Sokyung's core members would also be attending, so he might run into Mustache Man after a long time. Yoon-so opened his chat with Mustache Man on his phone. Text from Mustache. Photo. Our princess made kimbap with mom today. Hee hee. Text from me. Looks delicious. Mustache. Want me to share? Me. Photo. I already bought some. Mustache. LOL. Drop by sometime if you want some. Photo. Their recent message history was quite peaceful. Neither of them had ever talked about the Great Dungeon over text. Text from me. Are you coming tomorrow? Since he was a busy man, it would take a while for a reply. Yoon-so turned off his phone screen. The first installation site for today was a small commercial building, a C-rank request. It'd be more effective if it were B grade. While Sticky Rice searched for a parking spot and pulled in, Yoon-so deliberated. The requests coming into the Guild of Leaves were mostly B or C rank, but he always installed B rank or higher and then reported them as C rank in the after-action reports. Even if he got caught, the Guild's personality meant they'd just say, "Wow, Yoon-so really is skilled," and let it slide. As long as he didn't go overboard and set up an S-rank one like in the shantytown. I should be cautious for now. He wasn't sure what Sokyung's style would be like, so he figured he should hold off on these secret good deeds for a while. Being cautious never hurt. 8 hours later, Yoon-so, who had ended up installing all 3 shield traps as B rank or higher, pressed his forehead in the car on his way home. Sticky Rice, what's wrong with me? There is no one without flaws. That's not comforting at all. What should I say? Overcoming gloom is something only you can do. The AI he'd been with for 8 years was way too blunt. But since the AI had developed based on Yoon-so's personality, it was his own fault. I won't get caught. I've never been caught before. As long as there's no dungeon overflow or explosion, there's no way to get caught. Yoon-so tried to think optimistically as he picked up his phone. However, the message he received only made him more anxious. Text from Mustache. Haha, yeah. I'll be there too. It's fascinating that we're in the same guild now. When we first met 5 years ago over buying shield traps, we fought like crazy. If I'd known we'd end up on the same side, I wouldn't have argued back then. Haha. The message was a complete lie, since Yoon-so and Mustache Man first met 12 years ago on the day of the Great Cataclysm. This was a code to signal that someone might be eavesdropping, and they should adjust their words accordingly. Yoon-so's face hardened. The next day, Yoon-so arrived at Sokyung's headquarters in Gangnam 10 minutes before the merger ceremony began. The guild members, including Guildmaster Ki Sang-hyuk, were already inside the building. Looking at the excited selfies and messages urging them to hurry up in group chat, Yoon-so sighed. A red carpet was laid out at the main entrance, surrounded by reporters, making it difficult to get inside. As he walked toward the back entrance, his phone rang. It was the guildmaster. What is it? What do you mean, what is it? The ceremony's about to start. Where are you? There's still time. 10 minutes, huh? You call 10 minutes still time? I can't believe you're acting like this, even today. Every other guild is already here. Appa, come quick. Everything here is super shiny, and there's so much yummy food. Yoon-so, did you get lost in this huge place? Want me to come get you? I'm nearby. Hanging up now. Hey! Yoon-so coldly ended the call and soon found the back entrance. A few reporters with cameras were loitering around. Feeling a chill, he decided to circle around one more time and ended up at the side of the building. Squinting against the blinding sunlight, he looked up. The window on the 5th floor was wide open. The glass, newly fitted with bird collision prevention film, was spotless and well maintained. Each floor had ledges wide enough for hands and feet. With no signal jammers, no mask, and no hat, getting past the cameras was impossible, so rock climbing it was. Yoon-so stuffed his phone into his bag and zipped it shut, just as he placed his hand on the glass. Planning to climb up? A young man's voice, filled with mischief, interrupted him. Chapter 8. I was hoping he wouldn't talk to me. Yoon-so had sensed his presence for a while, but pretended not to notice since the other person was using a stealth skill. Now that he initiated the conversation, Yoon-so had no choice but to respond. Who are you? When he turned around with wide eyes, the first thing he noticed was red hair. The man, who stood slightly taller than Yoon-so, squinted as he looked at him. Seeing his face surprised Yoon-so slightly, not because of the red hair or blue eyes, but because of how close he was. This man was more skilled than he had anticipated. Your reaction's strange. Shouldn't you be more surprised? You're a beat too slow, too. Yoon-so stayed silent, simply staring at the man. Well, you look weak, but you're a hunter too, right? What rank are you? What's your hunter name? I don't enter dungeons. So you're an office worker. The man smirked, his tone and gaze dripping with arrogance. He stepped closer to Yoon-so and extended a hand. I'm Hong Uyun from the Enfire Guild. Yoon-so didn't particularly want to shake his hand. He briefly glanced at it before looking back up at Hong Uyun. Yoon-so. Ha! Hong Uyun let out a breath, sounding exasperated as he pulled back his hand. Yoon-so didn't mind arrogance. He had encountered far more conceited individuals in his life. He simply didn't feel like shaking hands. Hong Uyun has activated the Eyes of Flame skill. Hong Uyun is viewing your fake memory profile. How amusing. Yoon-so suppressed the grin, threatening to tug at his lips in feigned ignorance. The profile Hong Uyun was looking at was a fabricated one, created through Yoon-so's special skill. Yoon-so, 29 years old, male, rank B, trait survival, skills spark B, protecting veil B, safe zone C, special skills none. Everything except for his age and gender was fake, crafted meticulously using his unique skill, fake memory. Unless someone with an insight skill surpassing S rank saw it, it was flawless. Yoon-so was certain such a person didn't exist. L-rank skills weren't something just anyone could possess. What the hell? You're just a boring weakling. Without a guardian god, no unique skills, and even his general skills appearing suited for desk work, Hong Uyun immediately lost interest. Watching the disappointed man, Yunso also used a skill. The Encyclopedia People skill has been activated. Viewing the target's system profile. Encyclopedia People, Hong Uyun, 27 years old, male. Rank A. Item, Temper Band enhances the flame resistance capability. Trait, the Burning One, protected by the God of Flame, protected by the God of Rocks, protected by the God of Thunder. Skills, Eyes of Flame A, Magma Impact A, Ring of Fire B, Meteor B, Hellfire S. Special skills, Hedina A, Eternal Hunger A. Additional statuses can only be viewed in dungeons. A rank. Seeing a higher rank than expected, Yunso was inwardly surprised. The number of skills he possessed was impressive, and one of them was even an S-rank skill. With this, he was among the top-tier A-rank hunters. While Park Subin was a healer and Hong Uyun specialized in offense, making a direct comparison difficult, in terms of stats alone, he surpassed Park Subin. Not that it matters to me, though. Yunso tilted his head slightly and turned back, placing his hand on the glass wall. If he delayed any further, he would be bombarded with nagging from his guildmates. Yunso held skills that could let him pass through the wall, fly into the sky, or even teleport to where his guildmates were, but he chose to climb up the wall using only his physical strength. Since awakened beings were inherently stronger than normal humans, it was possible. Crawling like an insect. When he reached the third floor, Hong Uyun soared past him. He appeared to be flying, using an item. Yunso sighed inwardly. He was now part of the same guild as this man who couldn't resist picking fights like a child. While Yunso could handle it, he worried about how the kind and gentle members of the Guild of Leaves would endure it. As soon as Yunso arrived, Go Heewon, who had been loitering near the entrance, rushed over and started nagging him about being late. After receiving his name tag, business card, and souvenirs, he entered the conference hall, which was bustling with people. While the density wasn't high compared to the hall size, to Yunso, it looked like a swarm of ants. I know you always cut it close with meeting times, but doing it even today is over the line. Look around, everyone's already here. Inside the hall, there were 7 round tables, and the only empty one had a sign that read, Sokyung. Why are there 7 tables? The table next to us is for a one-person guild, so they combine them, Hwashim and Deep Blue, mercenaries. The concept of mercenaries had emerged recently. Although the Gaia system itself was only 12 years old, the mercenary system had been around for less than 2 years. When one received a blessing from a specific god or obtained skills and items, they gained the authority to form a guild. If that person gathered like-minded individuals, the Gaia system would create a guild category. The guild category generated useful skills like guild teleport, guild member tracking, and guild communication, which could only be used inside dungeons. The effectiveness of these skills also varied based on guild experience. For instance, the Guild of Leaves only had the guild communication skill, which Yunso had never used since he didn't enter dungeons. Joining a guild was optional, but having one was advantageous in dungeon battles, so many hunters joined guilds. However, as with any group of people, various vices arose, exploiting clueless awakened individuals into slave contracts, monopolizing dungeon loot, and power struggles for guild leadership roles. 2 years ago, fed up with such issues, an American S-rank hunter formed a guild under his own name and declared himself a mercenary. He took requests from other guilds, joined them in dungeon raids, and earned fair compensation. Since then, one-person guilds, or mercenary hunters, had gradually emerged. Currently, at the one-person guild table, a large, taciturn man was seated. His hunter name was Deep Blue. The adjacent seat was empty, but the nameplate indicated it belonged to someone named Hwashim. Yunso, you punk, why are you so late? I'm not late. How many times do I have to tell you not to show up right on time? especially on days like today. You should be here at least 30 minutes early. Are you even Korean, huh? As soon as Yunso reached the Gilderleaf's table, Guildmaster began nagging him. Yunso listened with one ear and let it go out the other as he indifferently scanned the seats. The seats next to the Guildmaster and team leader Park Youngbum were vacant. Greeting the guild members, he quickly sat in the seat next to Park Youngbum, which was clearly where Go Hyewon had been sitting to greet him. Oh, Appa, that's my seat. That seat over there is empty. Seriously? Go Hyewon grumbled as she took the seat next to the Guildmaster. Yunso smirked triumphantly, and the Guildmaster gave him a look that said, "Just you wait." Meanwhile, Park Youngbum was wolfing down cookies and pudding. "Our ace, Yunso, these are delicious. Eat plenty." "You should have more, team leader." When Yunso handed him a cookie he had picked up earlier, Park Youngbum grinned and thanked him. "Yunso, I was wondering when you'd get here." Although he had rushed to take this seat, it wasn't the perfect one. Park Subin was seated to his left, and as always, Park Subin was cheerful, sporting a suspicious smile. "I always see you in your work clothes, but seeing you today is something else. Your looks are already outstanding, so I figured any clothes would suit you, but seeing you in a suit, wow. Your physique and posture are impeccable. Do you work out or something?" "Thank you. You're quite dashing yourself, Subin. Do you work out?" "That wasn't a compliment. Wishing for a compliment, you know. I was genuinely impressed by how great you look in your suit." "So was I." At Yunso's curt reply, Park Subin chuckled, as if resigned. "Why are you so late today?" "I'm not late." "Well, true. You never technically show up late. You just cut it close. I'm curious. What kind of hobby were you enjoying before you came here this time? Watching dramas?" "No, I went mountain hiking after early morning fishing. What about you, Subin?" Wow, Park Subin marveled. "Every time I can't help but think how diverse your hobbies are, Yunso. You seem so indifferent and nonchalant about everything, but fishing, hiking... Yunso Appa is incredibly diligent. He watches dramas, plays games, reads books, and even plays Go, right? Isn't he a 3, Dan?" "Yunso, didn't you attend piano classes a few years back too?" "That's right. Then you randomly started attending programming classes too. You have a lot of hobbies, but they're more shallow and wide-ranging." The guild members chatted about Yunso. He began to regret how little he had kept private from them. At that moment, sounds of awe and murmurs filled the room. The lively chatter ceased as everyone turned to look in one direction. Following their gazes, Yunso spotted a man with a solid build. He had curly black hair, sharp eyes, and a firmly pressed straight-line mouth. He wasn't wearing a suit, but a hunter outfit. Though tidy and well-fitted, it wasn't appropriate for an event like this. "Wow, someone managed to show up even later than Yunso on a day like today. He looks incredibly strong. Is he A rank?"